We're going to start with the chicken. For the chicken strips, I have a chicken breast here that I'm just going to slice into strips. I think it came to about 3 to 4 strips. And then I am taking the meat out of the lobster tail. So I'm breaking into the shell and pulling the meat out of the lobster tail. This will help when I dip it in the dredge to fry. For the dredge, I already have all the seafood and the chicken in flour, so it's already seasoned, it's already floured. You flour it first, then you dip it in the egg, and then you coat it with the breadcrumbs. Today I'm using panko breadcrumbs. So just one by one, each piece, I'm taking it out of the flour, dipping it in the eggs, and then coating it with the breadcrumbs. This is a 3-step process. And for the 4th step for me is that I like to put it back in the flour to give it like a sealed coating. And it's extra crunchy, extra delicious. This is the lobster tail. You can see the meat hanging out. And I keep the shell on for the look. I keep it attached to the shell for the look, just for the aesthetic. You can't eat the shell, but it's a pretty look and it helps people to know like, oh, this is the lobster tail. So I'm dredging it in the breadcrumbs. We're doing that for each piece of meat and fish. And I'm putting everything back into the same flour bowl because it's all going to be fried in the same oil. No one has any seafood allergies or anything like that. This is really just for me. At Cafe Miss MJ, my imaginary windowsill cafe. So once all the pieces have been dipped in the flour, egg, and panko breadcrumbs and back into the flour, I'm going to add the oil to the pot. I have deep fryers, but I don't have them with me right now. So right now I'm doing pot frying, and I use a thermometer to test the temperature. For frying, because this is seafood and white meats, it should be at 350, but for deep frying it's usually between 350 and 375, but I'm aiming for 350 Fahrenheit. And as you can see, the temperature is still low. I noticed with the pots, different parts, obviously, of the pot are different temperatures. But now that it's at 357, it's ready for frying. So I am starting with the chicken strips, because those take longer to cook. They take about the same time, because chicken usually takes, for me, like 6 minutes. And a lot of the times I more know or look for the color. When it gets that nice golden color, then I know it's done. When the breading has that nice golden color, that's how I know the meat is done. When it comes to like chicken strips, shrimp, the crab sticks are already cooked. It's imitation crab meat, so that's like pre-cooked. So it's really just getting that color that you want on the breading. But shrimp usually takes about 3 to 4 minutes. Chicken, white meat, usually takes about 6 minutes to cook, depending on how thick it's cut also. So now I'm already starting to see a little browning, and I'm just flipping stuff over. The oil is deep fried, but it's still a little shallow. And I hate frying with eggs, but in order for the panko crumbs to stick, you have to kind of use eggs. If there's another technique, definitely share it in the comments section, because I'd love to learn different ways of cooking. But another reason why I really do not like frying with eggs is because of like the foam. I feel like it dirties up the oil quickly, and I just don't like to reuse the oil. So that's why you see all those foamy bubbles on top. And then the oil was already used. This batch of oil that I'm using, it was already used. I think I may have fried some chicken in it before, so it was already close to its last days. It's always good, especially when you have a restaurant or you're catering or something. Obviously, you always want to use fresh oil. because a lot of the times when the oil gets old, it doesn't fry as well, and sometimes that taste can even get into the food and it can impact the taste. So that batch was done. I've taken it out, and now I'm adding the crab sticks. And like I said, the crab sticks are already cooked. Basically, the imitation crab meat is already cooked, so it's more so about browning the breadcrumbs or the breading, because there's also flour on it, and making sure the eggs are cooked, which doesn't take long. This is the lobster tail, shell and all. Like I said, the shell is just for the look. It makes it look pretty and you know exactly what it is. But obviously you don't eat the shell unless you're gangster. There are some gangster people that will bite into the shell. And once again, with the lobster tail, maybe 6 minutes. That could even be a lot. 3 to 4 minutes, 6 minutes. But like I said, I really just look for the color. Once it has that golden color, it's ready to go. So I'm taking them out one by one. You could use a basket. You could use a slotted spoon. Right now I'm using a tongue, and I'm just taking each piece out, shaking off that excess oil. And a lot of people will put it on like a cookie sheet or cookie rack, I should say, or oven rack. Well, maybe not an oven rack, but like a cookie rack, a cooling rack. For me, I'm old school. I'm in my house doing this, so I just put it on a paper towel and let it soak like that. I don't really have issues with it getting soggy on a paper towel, but a lot of people professionally, even at home chefs, they tend to put it on like a cooling rack or a cookie rack. And now I'm cutting a lemon. This is just the lemon for the side. I know a lot of people like lemon with their seafood. I like lemon with steamed fish or scampi style fish. I don't necessarily put lemon on fried seafood, but it's still a nice look. It's a nice touch to the plate. And for some people, they do put lemon on fried seafood, so I'm just cutting the lemon to add to the plate, more so for me for decoration. I did end up squeezing a lemon on the lobster tail and a shrimp, and it was delicious. And now I'm cutting the orange slice for my soft drink, just to put in the glass for my beverage to give it a nice look. Once again, I feel like just for my imaginary windowsill cafe, the look is just as important as the taste. The look will sell a product, even though I'm selling to myself. You know, it will sell a product more than the flavor. And I'm peeling a cucumber, and now I'm slicing it up. The cucumber is for my salad. Yo, the lettuce is bag lettuce that I use, shredded lettuce, which is really good for like tacos. But once I added I added some of the leftover tartar sauce, and then I added some ranch dressing and Italian dressing, and this, I did not like the lettuce. The lettuce was a no-go for me, but the cucumbers, I love cucumbers, and that was amazing. And when you're eating all those fried foods, I'm adding, this is the tartar sauce, mayonnaise, sweet relish. I add other flavors but just for the video quickly, and to just whip something up really quickly, all I added was a little bit of water to thin out the mayonnaise because it's a little thick, and the sweet relish. Water, mayonnaise, sweet relish. You have homemade tartar sauce. Bang, boom, pow. Sometimes I'll add like onion powder, garlic powder. Sometimes I add a little sugar. But just mayonnaise, sweet relish, and like I said, water, and even water is optional. That's just good enough. And now I have my orange slice in my glass, my tall glass. I'm filling it with ice and preparing it for my soft drink to enjoy with my seafood platter. And I wanted to add that all this fried food can be really heavy, so having a salad or something light and refreshing can bring balance to the entire meal. We're having Sunkist orange soda. Just gonna crack that soda open, pour it into the glass, pour it on those rocks. There's nothing better than a ice cold glass of water. Some people don't like ice in their drinks or a lot of ice in their drinks. I am I am an ice addict. I am addicted to ice. I eat trays of ice. I'm dipping a shrimp into the tartar sauce. I eat trays of ice every day. Like, I love ice. I'm that girl when I'm in the hospital. When I had my daughter and was in the hospital, like, I don't even have to be in the hospital. I could go visit somebody in the hospital and would ask the people for ice. I love ice. I'm one of those ice addicts. But I dipped the shrimp in the homemade tartar sauce, and of course, you could hear the crunch on the shrimp. That breading is crazy. It was so good. This was a lot. I actually did not eat all of this because this was a whole lot. So I ended up having some the next day for lunch, and it was good. I'm dipping the crab stick into the homemade tartar sauce. You can see that lobster tail. And I love red lobster. I don't know if there's, like, maybe there's rock lobster or that Caribbean lobster, like the lobster that you get in the Caribbean or in the tropics in warm climate. I like cold water lobster. I like red lobster. Like, when the lobster tail is red, oh my God, that lobster is so good compared to like those tropical rock lobsters. This is the lobster I prefer. New England lobster, if that's a thing. And I don't like claws. I am a lobster tail person. So once again, I'm just dipping some shrimp and some homemade tartar sauce. This was indulging. This was really good. And like I said in another video, I think I did the short, that this is, look at the lobster meat, y'all. Ooh, baby. The best of the best. The best part. I ate half yesterday and then the other half today for lunch. So good. Half of that tail yesterday, and I think these are like 3-ounce tails, so it's not even that big of a tail. So in New York City, you'd go to these fish markets and there would be like fresh fish on ice. And then on the other side of the market, you'd get like fried seafood. And that's where you would get like the crab sticks, the shrimp, scallops, porgy. And to me, the most popular thing growing up was fried whiting sandwiches. They'd give you like 4 pieces of whiting stacked on 2 slices of white bread or wheat bread. I feel like most people got the white bread, and then you'd smother it in tartar sauce, ketchup, and hot sauce depending on what you like. Some people even added salt and pepper. These type of restaurants are the inspiration for this dish. There's one particular restaurant on Burnside Avenue in the Bronx. That's the neighborhood I grew up in. The woman started selling chicken strips, and the panko breading is like what sold me, and I would be obsessed with those chicken strips. So this whole dish of the crab sticks, the fried shrimp, not necessarily lobster tail, but I added that because I do love lobster tail. But those Korean, well, this particular place is a Korean fish market. That is the inspiration for this dish. A lot of those places are now selling steamed seafood, especially crab legs. So one day I will do a steamed platter because that wasn't an option for me growing up.